Want to know how to protect your assets in the event of a divorce? Now, I get it. No one enters a marriage thinking about the end, but in today's world, being prepared is essential. So let's be real. We insure our cars, our homes, even our phones. So why not insure our marriages from divorce? So why is this important? Let me share a few sobering statistics. According to the American Psychological Association, roughly 40 to 50% of marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. So how do we avoid this? The answer is a Cook Islands trust. This strategy is like having a financial shield, a barrier between your assets and anybody who might like to take them away, divorce or not. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to have that uncomfortable prenup conversation. You can set up this trust long before marriage, and it's done quietly and securely. Why the Cook Islands, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The Cook Islands is one of the world's most trusted jurisdictions when it comes to asset protection. U.S. trusts don't work in this case because U.S. courts have jurisdiction over U.S. trustees. The Cook Islands legal system, on the other hand, is designed to make it incredibly difficult or even impossible for anybody, even with a determined ex-spouse with a high-profile lawyer, to get their hands on your assets. So here's how it works. The U.S. courts say, give me the money, or UK, Australia, New Zealand courts for that matter. Our Cook Islands Trust Company law firm says, no, not going to. You don't have jurisdiction down here. To put it simply, the Cook Islands is the Fort Knox of asset protection. But wait, there's more. Don't stop at just the trust. To really make sure your assets are locked down, we place them inside of a Cook Islands LLC. Why? Because this adds an extra layer of legal protection and control. The trust owns the Cook Islands LLC 100%. You're the initial manager of the LLC and the signatory in the bank accounts. And if you need our law firm to step in as LLC manager to protect you, they can. Think of it like building a moat around your fortress, and you have the button that opens and closes the drawbridge. So not only do they have to get through the trust, but they also have to navigate through the LLC, which is nearly impossible to penetrate. So let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you have real estate investments and savings that you want to protect. We set up the trust, you place your assets into it. With real estate, we use land trusts, and for rental properties, we add LLCs. We record equity stripping line of credit mortgages on the properties to make them very unattractive to take. You retain control over everything until you need our law firm to step in, while keeping all of the assets shielded from outside threats. Okay, now let's focus in on your liquid assets like cash and investments. For those, we recommend setting up an international brokerage and bank account. We often use a Swiss bank account under the protection of the Cook Islands Trust. You've heard of Swiss bank accounts, and there's a reason why they're known for secrecy and security. So combining the Swiss account with your trust and your LLC really adds a trifecta of protection. Your money is safe and your privacy is intact. And we open the account in the name of the LLC that's inside the trust. And again, your Cook Islands Trust owns 100% of the LLC. Now, speaking of Switzerland, it's ranked as one of the safest banking jurisdictions in the world. You get confidentiality and you get peace of mind knowing that your assets are out of reach from prying eyes. Now, a crucial part of this strategy is keeping those pre-marriage assets separate from anything that you acquire during the marriage. The minute you start using joint funds to, say, pay off the mortgage or maintain one of the properties, you risk commingling the assets. And that's a fast track to losing them in a divorce. But don't worry, there's a simple solution. Set up your trust, move your assets into LLCs, and make sure those assets are self-sufficient. That means your rental properties need to generate enough income to cover their expenses. And don't mix your personal or joint funds with them. So by keeping everything separate, you're drawing a clear line in the sand. And of course, once you're married, you're free to set up a joint living trust for assets that you acquire together, and that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that the new trust is separate from your Cook Islands Trust and keep those lines clear, and you'll be protected on both sides. And as an aside, you can also name your spouse or future spouse as a beneficiary of your Cook Islands Trust, stating that if you're still married within 24 hours of your passing, your spouse can then become a beneficiary of the trust, as well as your children, under the proportion that you wish. So the brilliance of this approach is its simplicity. You're not hiding anything, you're not breaking any laws, you're simply being proactive. So you've structured your assets in a way before the marriage, there's almost no chance that they'll be considered joint property in a divorce.